You stopped texting her, and now you're sitting there wondering if she even noticed. Maybe you did it on purpose. Maybe you just got tired of being the one who always reaches out first. Either way, the silence is loud, and the question living rent-free in your head right now is simple. What is she actually thinking? If this feels familiar, subscribe. Because what's happening inside her mind right now is not what you assume. And once you understand it, you'll never overthink a text conversation the same way again. Let's build the scene. You were texting regularly. Conversations were flowing. You were showing up consistently, maybe too consistently. And somewhere along the way, you realized the energy wasn't matching. She was responding, but not initiating, engaging, but not chasing. So you stopped, or pulled back. And now there's silence on both ends. Here's what most people assume happens next. They assume she doesn't think about it. They assume she moves on immediately, unbothered, completely unaffected. They assume the silence confirms what they feared, that they just didn't matter enough. That assumption is almost always wrong. Here's what actually happens in the first few hours after you go quiet. Nothing dramatic. She notices the absence in the way you notice a sound that suddenly stops. Not loudly, but somewhere in the background of her awareness. Your name isn't appearing. The rhythm she'd gotten used to is gone. And the brain, her brain, anyone's brain, is wired to pay attention to pattern disruption. You didn't disappear. You became a question. And questions demand answers. This is where it flips. See, when you were texting consistently, you were readable, predictable, safe. And safety, in attraction, is a slow poison. It kills curiosity. It tells the brain, this is figured out, you can stop paying attention. But the moment your behavior changes, the moment the pattern breaks, her brain stops filing you under known and moves you directly to unresolved. Unresolved things don't leave our minds. They sit there, quietly, persistently. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect, the mind's tendency to fixate on incomplete things far more than completed ones. You became incomplete the moment you went quiet. And incomplete things have a grip that most people wildly underestimate. So in the first few hours, she's not devastated. But she is aware, more aware of you than she's been in days. Then comes the ego check. This is the part no one talks about. When a woman has grown comfortable with your attention, when she's used to you being available, your silence triggers something that has nothing to do with feelings and everything to do with self-perception. She starts asking, did something change? Did I do something? Or did he just find something else to do? That last thought is the one with teeth. Most guys completely miss this moment. They think pulling back is about punishment or strategy. It's not. It's about reintroducing something real, the honest possibility that you have a life, options, and standards. If you want to understand how that shift actually works and what to do with it, subscribe. Because what comes after this moment is where most guys fumble it completely. Now here's the deeper layer, the one that actually explains why this works. Scarcity changes value, not just in economics, in human emotion. When something is endlessly available, we don't treasure it. We take it for granted. We consume it casually and move on. But when availability becomes uncertain, when you're not sure if you'll have access to something tomorrow, your brain reframes how much it wants it today. You weren't less interesting when you were texting every day, but you were less scarce. And scarcity, real or perceived, is one of the most powerful drivers of desire that exists in human psychology. And this is what you didn't expect. Her thinking about you more isn't a guaranteed outcome of going quiet. It's a natural outcome of one specific thing, whether she had begun to take your attention for granted. If she had, your silence creates a vacuum. And nature and human emotion both hate a vacuum. Here's the realization I want you to sit with at the end of this. This was never really about texting. Not about frequency, not about who texts first, not about double texting or waiting 3 hours to reply. Those are symptoms. The real thing underneath all of it is perceived value. How she feels about the prospect of losing your attention. How much weight your presence carries in her world. And here's the part that's uncomfortable but true. You cannot manufacture that weight with tactics. You can only build it by actually being someone with a life worth pulling attention away from her for. The moment you became that person genuinely, she noticed. She's still noticing.